Concerning the minor insurrection downtown. Diffused, Chairman. No casualties this time, thank God, but...
But who knows next time?
Pardon me, Chairman?
You're right, of course, Counselor. Steps must be taken. Thank you for your report.
Certainly, Chairman.
Owen, you heard all that. We have to do something, my brother. Something clever. The people are bored, restless, without direction. They need an outlet. They have jobs, but require something to fill their leisure time. Something. Diversion, distraction, spectacle, something that couldn't matter less. Sex. Owen, did you just say sex?
And violence.
Well, that goes without saying, doesn't it? Violence, sex, spectacle, and seasonal. I feel an idea coming on. Something distinctly Roman.
Chairman, the Fashion Council is calling as requested. Shall I put them through?
As I requested? Ah, Oren, well played. The Fashion Council, eh? I would have gotten there myself, you know. Yes, please, Sathandra. I have a proposal I believe they'll be excited to hear.
So I was meant to finish this video like months ago, but life kind of truck-gooned me, and I got mega busy with work and pretending like I have a social life.
Oh, cool. We didn't really have a plan for this. It's kind of
So anyway, this video game's name is Æon Flux, a game developed by Terminal Reality, who made a few other games. Set in a dystopian cyberpunk world with two warring cities and a protagonist who's extremely flexible and skilled at many things, including dying, more dying. So for this video I'm going to be breaking the game down chapter by chapter, running through the story and throwing a few bits of run through of the gameplay every now and then. I wanted to try something new. Also, by the way, this game is spelled like this, Æon Flux. Yeah, I'm not sure why either. I guess it's a cool Half-Life style thing. Anyway, let's get started. Welcome.
Fashion of the fittest, time-honored and much-beloved spectacle held here in Central Bregnot to signal the arrival of the new season's collections.
This is where we meet our main character, Æon. She's currently participating in Fashion of the Fittest, and by fittest they mean being able to survive superhuman climbs and jumps while fighting lasers. This also doubles as a fashion show, where you get to show off the creators' outfits, and also you die if you don't score high enough. In-universe, Fashion of the Fittest was created by the Goodchild brothers, and the weird scientists from the beginning, for the purpose of entertaining the masses of Bregnor. Being the city of the Goodchilds, they own and run, and the enemy of the Monarchans, which Æon is an agent for. This level also serves as a tutorial for basic movement controls, which include just standard running and jumping, but also many other techniques, which is revolutionary for a time, for like wall running and climbing and pole vaulting. It mirrors in Mirror's Edge, but on crack and not as fluid. These obstacles are easy to navigate, and Æon, being the skilled secret agent she is, clears the course flawlessly, while her stereotypical German designer actually loses shit every time Æon moves an inch, and the commentators engage in world building.
Yeah, give it all to them! No, hold some back. Yes, to stare into the sun.
Models are allowed only a few minutes between rounds to fully display the glamour, beauty, and lethal efficiency of their designer's new battleware collection.
Oh, disqualification equals death tonight. The chairman must be in a dark mood. Strike, now you like this eagle, and he's like screaming from the sky. It's an angry eagle. His little red face with the and the claws and the sticking out, and he's also angry.
Once we clear the course, we meet our sister Una, who tells us our real plans: to infiltrate the secret lab and leave the runway, and we jump into a Metro Prime ball and head underground. As we enter the lab, we do a little dodging, and then instantly get spotted. We rappel down and begin our combat tutorial. Æon has your basic punch, kick, block, and roll, with a blue style meter being the way we use unique abilities such as styles kill, throw, and heal by snapping our enemies' necks in unique ways. We also have a gun, which has 4 different ammo types: normal bullets, collateral bullets, shotgun, and base. But these guns are for pussies, and when you can punch the armor of enemies and snap their necks, Unlike most games of this genre, the enemy types vary throughout the game with different weapons and different levels of armor, meaning harder to kill or easy to kill. Back on mission, after we shoot the whole complex in style of course, we find our kidnapped Monarchans with strange devices on their necks, and we fly down and steal them for research purposes. After we grab them, we're informed we are needed back on the runway real soon, and if we don't go up there, they're going to blow our fucking colour like the funny DC movie. Back up on the runway, we do the same course, except all the women are really mad at us for being the world's best bimbo, so we game end them. Truly, the female experience. Oh god, this joke's gonna get cancelled. We clear the runway and head back down into the lab to search for more drama on the good child and their mind toys. Una reverse engineered them already, so we just mind-juck the scientists, so that's our objective for level. Upon entering, we meet a member of the Hostess, a group of exclusively just women focused on finding and leaking the newest tech by breaking into highly secure facilities and nicking shit. Imagine Ulala from Space Channel 5, but voiced by just Laura Bailey, and instead of dancing, they shoot you. We game ender. We continue through the facility, mind-jacking the scientists, go through some more Metroid Prime sections, and once we get to the final scientist, the main villain shows up and shows us Una wearing one of the mind control risers. He's a little creepy and literally just says, "Go 1v1 your sister, Æon." Welcome to round 3 of Fashion. Sister versus sister. Let's dance, boys. We end up winning because we're the main character, sending Una to the fucking abyss. We congratulate his runner-up as revealed Oren, Good Child's brother, has been competing the entire time, and he gets us.
Oren.
Well, that wraps up one of the most captivating Fashion of the Fittest contests ever witnessed.
And on your way out, folks, don't forget to trade your ticket stubs in for a special commemorative choker designed especially for the occasion by winning designer Chairman Trevor Goodchild himself.
Just a little prefacing, the chapters get a lot shorter from here on out for some reason. I guess they put a lot of more budget into Fashion of the Fittest. So, yeah, let's go. We up on Æon in an area between Bregna and Monica known as No Man's Land, and we're introduced to Æon's friend, the uber hand-foot fetish lady herself. She has hands for feet, and this game's a little weird, I don't know, blame MTV. We follow Sifandra through No Man's Land, dodging alternate replacements until we break into Bregna. From there we fight for the streets and begin our real mission, hacking the billboards to tell the masses how evil Trevor Goodchild is. This causes us to get even more heat, surprisingly, and the cops try to arrest us, American style. During this time we decide to arrest them instead of their spinal columns. But they grab hands to feet while we're escaping, so we need to meet up with Una, who has her own mission, she's also alive, and she hands us a key which gives us access to the Panopticon, a high-end security prison which they use to break Monica insurgents into submission, notice my phrasing here, and give their secrets away. We fight through the facility, finding interesting ways to open doors. As we navigate the facility, blowing up security pylons and start prison brawls, we find Sifandra whining in our ear since she still has a comlink, so we're hearing them torture her in real time, using some interesting tactics by forcing them to watch cringe. We finally get to the nerve center of the facility where we find a shirtless Trevor and submissive breathable Sifandra. We decide she's fucking cringe and put it down for the sake of all. That and she has fucking hands for feet. can't believe I had to write this. She orgasms as we slam her corpse into the central pylon.
Oh my god! Oh! Æon! I never knew it could be like this! Oh! Trevor, we're through.
With all of that, the facility starts blowing up and we rappel down the side to escape. Oh, never mind. We back in that highly secure military facility. There's a lot of these. Æon is looking for a supposed alien spacecraft that Trevor got. We don't know how. We disable some brain guards, stab some necks, the standard. We find out that Trevor actually has a real alien spaceship and was torturing those on board using inhibitor pieces from the first chapter. See, it's interlinked. We open the ship and it turns out there's no aliens, it's Monacans who have enhanced with superpowers. So we remove their inhibitor binders and we proceed to break them out. Where did the Trevors go alien? We never find out. We begin escaping following the path of destruction the soldiers left in their wake, but they're being stopped by an inhibitor pylon, so we use our funny Metroid Prime hacking ball to disable the pylons and help the soldiers take out their former wardens. We proceed to climb out the facility and find this hostess video.
Hey hostesses, tonight's Head Smash is a real humdinger. We're bringing you a live interview from the laboratory of none other than the god of modern tech himself. You know him as Doctor and Chairman. We just want to call him Daddy. It's Trevor Goodchild. Chairman, it is so good of you to have us in this evening for a live interview. It's sad that the members of your security detail no longer qualify. Wouldn't be a very revealing interview if all we got was and would it? Not me, Hostess Tony. All the hostesses out there in Smashland know what I look like. Come on, fix on the chairman. He's the exciting one. Chairman, first question, and I'll be direct. You're the boy with all the toys, and we hostesses love you for it. But what we're all dying to know, and we've heard some pretty juicy rumors, is what's the new tech you're playing with? Where'd it come from?
Thanks, Hostess Cammy. It's a real pleasure to have you and...
Me? Oh gosh, I'm Hostess Tony.
And the lovely Hostess Tony here tonight. I'm a big fan. Phase science.
Excuse me?
Come on, Hostess Cammy, keep up. The technology I'm currently working with is called phase science. It allows, or will allow, its user to temporarily move through solid objects and seem to appear out of thin air. Very exciting work.
That's fascinating. And where did you get the idea for such a revolutionary chunk of tech?
Oh, it's not my idea. I sort of, well, stole it, to be honest, from genetic mutants. I had to kill a whole lot of them to get it, though. Not good communicators.
You... what? Genetic mutants? We never heard anything about that. How did
I conceal them? Oh, that's not so tough. I've got an entire underground facility in the industrial section where I created and studied them until I was finished. Never knew anything about that either, did you?
What are you gonna do with it?
Phase science will be used to finally contain all the elements of this society that distract me from my real work. You know who I mean, don't you?
Why are you telling us this? We should kill you. Come on, transmit, please.
Free the chairman. Immediately.
Why? Because this interview will never see the light of day, that's why. Oren, the last one is behind the table. I'm glad you're on my side. Phase harnesses seem to be working well.
Across the game there's these data entries, either in text form with characters voicing over them, or cutscenes, exposition about the world, background. Normally relating to the current level, like the last one explaining that the Monacan have superpowers. Back on task, we hooks-off out of the facility and find ourselves on the surface in No Man's Land, with the Monacans warping in. We begin to lead them across the surface with the intention of taking them back to Monaca to help them, taking down turrets and many guards on the way. The lady guard from earlier appears to stop our way, so we hack forward ports to bring down the shield blocking our way and game end the lady. Afterwards, we guide the Monarchans to the edge of no land before they start walking the other direction. Æon tries to stop them, but they say they're going to the frontier. They drag Æon with them with the most edgy line ever.
We will survive the frontier.
No one can. It's filled with
Monsters? Not yet. But it's going to be.
This chapter begins with the curious case of Æon being shot in the back of the fucking head and fucking dying. We get some voiceover sounding like someone trying to restore Æon back to life and placing her back in this cycle.
Look at yourself. What do you think you're doing? Not what you thought it was going to be, is it? You did this to yourself. This doesn't look good for you.
Right, so let's pause for a minute. I've been keeping secrets from you, dear viewer. This is some weird, odd movie tie-in game with no nonsensical plot. This game's set in the original MTV animated universe from the 90s. The entire premise is the same as this game, but it goes into more details about how the universe works. This world was ravaged by a deadly virus, with the city of Bregna being able to cure it, and the Monarchans being able to steal the blueprint for that cure, and building rivaling cities. As both cities began to fight over resources, with a ship above Bregna seemingly messing with the cycles of life and death, and change it into a cycle of reincarnation with everyone's biological data on site, to have them back into the cycle. Explains why there's a new Æon, a new Yuna, a new Safandra, Trevor, etc. Sometimes they retain most of their memories, sometimes they come back as completely different people. It's a bit fucking weird. This cycle plays over hundreds of years. For example, Faction of the Fittest, the intro video is actually almost 50 years prior to the current you play through. So it explains a lot why the timeline is wonky and people are changing positions. I personally think it's a really cool concept, which the animated series and the game have some fun with. Also, Æon looks like Charles Theron, I can't pronounce her name, sorry, and is voiced by her, as it's meant to be a tie-in leading into the movie universe and bridging the gap between the series and the movie. I haven't watched the movie, by the way. Lord. We wake up in the sewers, being discovered by a sewer worker who's surprised that us, Æon Flux, are in his waste disposal facility. We ask him how we get out, and he points us to more Metroid Prime ball rolling. In this chapter, Æon's a big celebrity. Imagine James Bond, but real and featured on talk shows. It's a little strange for a super spy to be this famous and not to be killed by the good child. We get to the surface just as dawn breaks off a beautiful Bregna, as we discover there are spider bombs set by someone clearly trying to blame us. Perhaps another Æon maybe? During this section we hear other voices, which I'm presuming is people from our other lives. There's just some Monarchans and Freya the Later Soldier from the last chapter. We clear the sewers and meet Safandra out of all people. She seems surprised by our fame and we explain we're done with all of this.
What's the point?
Well, there's your noble cause.
And where does that get me? Shot, stabbed, strangled, crushed, electrocuted, drowned, blown up, and run over? I'm trying on a new cause. Me.
Æon says she's done with this and wants to break this cycle. Safandra taunts her a little and leaves. Weird lady. We decide the only way to get our fame down is to take down the main broadcast tower, but we accidentally find Monarchan soldiers trying to assassinate Trevor Goodchild. Us done with everything try to convince them to a little effort to stop. We continue fighting through this area, taking out Monarchan assassins and various other people, then head for the tower. We take it down. Ironically, this chapter ends with Æon shooting Æon, continuing the cycle. We begin this mission by, surprise surprise, saying that we're now infiltrating another science facility. This time, our mission is the Ministry of Fertility. The Good Chance have apparently been working on a way to make plants more fertile to solve the famine, so we're stealing that from Monica. We did a little Metroid Prime bowling and some trolling, and flood the players on our way to the main lab. We continue down until we find a pod labelled M Fruit, and Trevor shows up and explains that M Fruit is for fertility, but it's not food. Take a guess what he means. We struggle to hack our orb up and activate the fertilization process on our seeds, but we actually put the M Fruit seeds in by accident, and it starts growing very fast. Oren shows up and tells Trevor that he made a batch of M Fruit just to destroy Sever's work to stop him from isolating the replication factor with the cloning. Oren gloats a bit and gets fucking gatted. Our Æon clearly has had an attachment to Oren, but we don't have time for grieving as we need to leave fast. The whole facility is becoming overgrown with a sentient species plant with a human as a template, the M in M Fruit standing for Monica. Just like the city, Monica. Get it? It rhymes. It's like poetry. We head out and start running towards the border wall as we hear green frequencies erupt into panic as the plant starts growing in an extremely rare and begins to attack us. We start hunting Trevor Goodchild as he apparently has a way to stop this mess, as it could spread to Monica as well, but he's just ahead of us. We find a giant plant boss, and we do what we do best.
Now open your eyes, the pieces are all over. Now you should accept this, it is over. Now open your eyes, put yourself together. You keep your eyes on this corruption. You keep your eyes on.
After all of that, Trevor shows up and explains that he plans to kill the plant, but it turns out it's actually the lady Monica Shiv, who was a councilwoman who rebelled against the Breen Council, and I believe the city of Monica was named after her, but now we've freed her weird form into an almost semi-magical state, and Monica nukes the entirety of Æon and Trevor and Bregna. The chapter ends there. Welcome to the best outfit in this game. The level begins by showing Trevor and Æon being married and they're now under Monican attack. At least they're not a secure military facility this time. They need to quickly get out of there to their skiff to escape. Notice the Monicans don't know who Æon is, so this is clearly a while after the last mission, as well as the plants also being a non-issue. I guess a lady nuking would do that to you. We defend Trevor's skiff, but we have to stay behind to defeat the enemy. Trevor tells us to communicate with Oren to figure out how to defend the compound. We found the Monicans employing many of our tactics, such as hacking to cause poison gases and destroying our path with spider bombs. I like this chapter because it lets you be somewhat the bad guy of the level and also have some omega level drip while doing it. Seriously, this is actually my favourite outfit in the game. I didn't mention this earlier, but every level has a different outfit, and once you beat the game, you can discover other outfits of different characters, like being able to play as Oren and something. You still have the same character's moveset, but it's a nice feature. The game also has a full cheat system, which you don't see much in many games, and uses a funny alpha omega sort of language to keep in character. But after a lot of fighting, we finally get outside and beat back the Monican forces, only to discover more hacking rolls rolling towards us, activating traps in our way. We find the main culprit of the level. Us. Well, Monica aligned us. She explains that Trevor made us and we're not the real Æon, implying that Æon could always be sided with Monica, and she's simply a clone, not part of this cycle. Trevor appears and said he couldn't leave blind his beloved to die, with both Æons being confused which one he means, and him saying they're both the real Æons, but they're both clones. He says don't take it personally, as Oren says on the comm that they need to get out there as the Monicans are about to nuke the compound. He's escaping with Trevor next and Oren next. Presumably clones like Æon, but not full regenerations of them. Trevor resigns himself to his fate of dying, as he tells both Æons he loves them. How adorable. For a psychopath. Welcome to war. Literally. This chapter begins with Æon breaking into yet another military facility, and she discovers there's plans for a super dreadnought which could be used to finish this war once and for all. Trevor appears, and after a short exchange, Æon confirms she's never met this Trevor, and Æon gats his ass, with Oren saying thank you as he gats Æon. Æon wakes up with Bregna at Heavy War, Goodchild now known as Emperor Goodchild. It's explained that we're on the back foot heavily, and because we messed up the assignment, we are brought back to life to deliver a message, and we're told to
rise and shine, Mr. Freeman.
We fight across the battlefield with many Bregnan and Monarchan forces engaging. Fun fact, this mission is actually based off an episode of the same name from the original series, which features Æon being killed very early on, and every person who kills Æon becomes the main character, and then the next person who kills that becomes the main character as well. It switches from view from side to side. This mission doesn't do that, but it's a nice reference, and the episode's definitely worth a watch. We decide to help some of the Monarchan fighters across the battlefield as they're being destroyed by tanks and airships, against the wishes of our handler, who effectively is the voice that's being projected to us, to guide us for our missions throughout the game. But he also complains that we should be letting the Monarchans die because it's acceptable losses. Æon isn't having this, and assists to try and save them. During our exploring, we discover a data chip that shows that Trevor developed a compound called Virus, which would basically dissolve any metal components very quickly. It's also revealed that Æon stole it, and Trevor revealed that Virus would literally eat anything. We continue onwards using the orbital laser platform the Bregnan have been using against us to wipe out the last of their ground troops and vehicles. We save most of the Monarchans as the dreadnought begins to fly. Our message is to stop it as we hook on onto it. This thing is a giant fuck-off gun. As we begin to climb it, we plan on infecting the ship with Virus to rip it apart and drop the ship in the sky. We infect the Wastrons, which is inside the ship, with it, so in about a day they'll come back and infect the rest of the ship, while trying to not get murdered. During this time we also take out the massive Mac cannon on the front of the ship, and afterwards we climb down to the top deck and decide to finish off Oren, who is Emperor Goodchild. Oren reveals that he set us up to kill Trevor so he could become the Emperor and destroy Monaco City. Oren also reveals that he pulled Trevor from this cycle and keeps his DNA to stop him from coming back, so Trevor can't fix the problems such as sterility or the fact that everyone's pseudo-immortal. Oren teleports to his giant throne and we have our final boss fight. We throw Oren off the collapsing ship, but before he falls, we grab Trevor's DNA and repel it away. We get a nice fancy CGI cutscene of the ship falling into Bregna with Æon just getting off in time and returning to the ship above Bregna. During this cutscene, it's also shown that all the wasps we've infected with Virus are now ripping apart Bregna and worse. The plants are back. The game ends on a real happy note. We end on Æon handling the Keeper of the Cycle, Trevor's DNA. He says he won't look the same in regards to linking the movie and a different actor, and the final line saying Æon saying things are going to change. For the worse, because I heard the movie's shit. So that was Æon Flux, a weird tie-in game for a movie I never watched, but I like the world. The style, the weird characters, sometimes the gameplay can be fun, but really fucked otherwise. If you find yourself slightly interested in looking into the weird world of Æon Flux, either the animated series or the game, I can't vouch for the film because I was writing this, I haven't watched it, but if you're a fan of weird cyberpunk 90s sort of stuff, it looks like it's worth looking at. I just kind of wanted to cover this game as a good idea format. I don't know, it's an idea. So yeah, I'm probably gonna work on something shorter now because this took way too long and I got very distracted with other stuff like life, like I said, life, work. I do want to do shorter stuff. I want to edit my Twitch streams more. I stream on Twitch, you should watch that. I don't stream often as I should, but I really should. I play a lot of Final Fantasy 14. As you can see, I'm a bit of a crackhead. It's not very good. I don't know. Though you should totally like and subscribe to the video and share it with your weird friends who think the funny internet fanboy is worth watching. Thanks. I would also like to mention that as of recording this, hopefully when the video goes out in a few days, I'll put a different announcement on my Twitter or my Discord if you want to join that. I'll be doing a cosplay stream, and also I'll probably be streaming most of that week because it's my birthday. You should definitely give me a gift. I'm joking, please don't do that. But yeah, I just thought it'd be something fun to do, and you should totally come. You listen to right now. Yeah, I'm talking to you. Clean up your room. It's disgusting.